Hello, my lovely ladies of YouTube. I hope you all are having a wonderful Saturday. Before I jump into this video, a little bit of housekeeping I like to do. I like to ask you, encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you also hit the notification bell because that's the only way you're going to be notified when I put out new content. So I am looking forward to this channel growing. I'm looking forward to you ladies being a part of the communication in the comments section. I only ask that everyone remain respectful when you leave your comments, but all are welcome. I also would like to ask you to give the video a thumbs up. Helps the channel to grow. It helps it to get pushed out into the mainstream area so that others that are like-minded can find my videos, which will be very informative, funny, and interactive, especially if you guys participate in the comment section. So once again, make sure that you leave some kind of comment in the comment section, because actually we would like to hear your input or any advice, your experiences that you may be facing or challenges you may be facing in this dating scene, because when I tell you, it's rough out there in those waters. So make sure you share. Once again, make sure you subscribe. We want to see this channel grow. Okay, so here's the deal. So this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my online experience. It's just the communication between myself and a guy that I came across on one of the dating sites. Now, I'm not going to say the dating site, but this will be, let's call him case number one. I set up the site a few months ago, and I never went in to do anything else. I just set up the profile, the bio, pictures, all that good stuff. And then I kind of forgot about it. I don't know if I was messing around over on Plenty of Fish at the time. Another sucky site. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, ladies, ladies. Anyway, several months later, I'm scrolling through my TikTok, and you know, they always have those advertisements on there about the dating sites. And so that particular one popped up, and I was like, oh, let me go back in here and see if I have any activity. And I did. I had several guys reached out. And so I just started responding to all of them. And needless to say, Clarence responded back. So these men, they are so petty. I promise you, they want to wear the tiara. A lot of these guys, they want to wear the tiara, but the tiaras are set aside for the queens, right? But some of these men act like they want to be the queen. They want to be the queen more than I'm supposed to be the queen. And I say that because now a friend of mine told me what happens or why this happens. So what happened was, you know, you have the communication, the messaging between you and the other person on the app. But when it mysteriously disappears, it's because why? They had the nerves to block you. So he had the nerves to block me. And later on in this story, I guess you'll see why. But again, these men, they are so soft. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I wanted to go through that thread, but it's gone. But what happens is eventually early on, we exchanged phone numbers. So not my real number. I never give my real number, ladies. I go to an app called Text Now. So it's a nugget in case you don't know. So I don't give these guys my real phone number. It would not be until much later on in our communicating and possibly dating before I would give my real number, if ever. So Text Now is the number that I give them. And so you can choose your own area code, all that good stuff, for those of you who don't know about it. So anyway, those messages cannot disappear because they belong to me. They are my property. So I'm going to have to just start from there. But when I tell you, these guys, they make the conversations go left so easily. You think you caught a good one. They start off nice and polite. So from memory, let's talk about the communication from the app. So he reached out. I finally responded. And he responded and said, hey, yeah, I'm interested. I like to get to know you. Let's exchange numbers and pictures. And so I said, sure. So we did that. And might have been a little more communication on the app. But anyway, let's move on over to our messaging between he and I on our personal phones. So, to read it. So, these really exist. So here we go. And I just had to share, like, you guys are my girlfriends. So, I'm going to gossip and kiki and tell my stories to you guys like you sitting right here in my living room. Okay? So anyway, he reaches out and he sends two pictures. And he says, hello, it's Clarence. I'm very interested. And I say, hey, nice to hear from you. Nice photos. Thank you for sharing. And then he goes on to say, I am feeling you. And I say, okay, well, that's a good thing. So I went on, trying to start a little chit chat. I asked him, was he at work? And he says, no, I'm off. And so then I go on to ask him, how has his day been? So he tells me he's watching USFL. So I say, okay. So anyway, conversation goes on a little further. You're probably going to be able to tell when it kind of went left. So anyway, he says, today was cool. Sometimes these text messages, when they send text messages, sometimes we talk into the phone, so our words or our sentences don't really come out the way that they should. So anyway, this says today was cool, work, bowling, and what does your evening look like? So I was a bit confused on that whole communication square. But anyway, I told him, I'm going to be, cooking for my daughter, and then I'm just going to be relaxing. So he goes on to ask, do I drink? And so I said, yeah, I drink occasionally. How about yourself? So then he says, let's have a toast. So I'm thinking, let's have a toast? Okay. Anyway, I asked him, I was like, well, what do you have in mind? So he lives about 68 miles from me, which is about, it equates to about an hour, 15, 20 minutes traveling time. So he asked, would I come to his city? And so I asked him, I said, well, what day do you have in mind? Now, before I continue on into that, for me, I'm just meeting you. You're the man. Why would you expect for me to drive to you? But I didn't go all into that. I just wanted to dig a little more just to see, which direction this thing was going to go. And so anyway, I asked him, what did he have in mind? He said, well, you tell me. I said, okay, well, how about next Saturday? Now, that's over a week away. And so he says, do you really want to wait that long before you're in my arms? I'm like, corny. Anyway, I said, well, you're welcome to come to my area sooner. And he said, really? He said, I live alone. How about you? I said, I don't. I didn't elaborate. So then I asked him, a house or apartment. In other words, do you live in a house or do you live in an apartment? I always want to know these types of things because I live in a home. I'm not discriminating, but I want to know, what are we working with? Apples to apples, or an apple and an orange, or a grape and a tomato. So he says it don't matter. He said, you haven't sent me any pictures. I said, okay. I said, well, I told him, I said, well, wait a minute. I said, you lost me. What does it matter? Because if I ask you a question, I expect a decent answer. He says, no. So I told him, what doesn't matter? I told him, and I said, I haven't sent you any pictures because you haven't asked for any. So sometimes they just assume because they shoot off pictures to you that you're just supposed to automatically send pictures to them. And I don't get the whole picture thing. You have about 5 or 6 pictures of me already that you've seen on the site. So I don't know. I don't get what the deal is with all these extra pictures. But anyway, because the only thing I'm going to do is send you a couple of pictures that are already on the site that you already have. So anyway, I did that. Sent him 2 that are already up there on the site, on the app. But before I did that, after I told him you didn't ask for any, he says, may I have some pictures? And then he answers my question. I have an apartment. And I said, oh, okay. Here's where he got on my nerves the first time. So I asked him, I'm trying to make, conversation. I said, so what's for dinner? He said, I wish it was you, LOL. Not funny. I mean, they just cannot have a simple conversation. What's for dinner? Oh, I'm going to bake some chicken and some rice and some vegetables. They just can't. They just cannot keep it simple. I wish it was you, LOL. You big 48-year-old supposed to be man who's supposed to be interested in getting to properly knowing a fabulous woman. But this is your communication. Anyway, so he goes on to tell me, I got your gas whenever you want to come to my city. Second thing that got on my nerves. Ladies, how do you spell the word come? I'm going to come over your house. Can you come to me? I'm going to come over. COME, right? Not him. I have your gas. No, I got your gas whenever you want to come to my city. He spells it CUM. Okay, OMG. Annoyed. Okay, so that was like number 2. First one was, what's for dinner? I wish it was you. I got your gas. If you come over, CUM. Anyway, I asked him, I said, so does that mean that you can't or you are not willing to travel to my city? Because remember earlier on, he was saying that was going to be a long time, the date that I suggested that we meet. And I told him, well, you're more than welcome to come to meet sooner. So anyway, he never said okay. So, when he offered the gas money, I asked him, so, what does that mean? You're not willing to come to my city? So he says, I have no problem coming. You can imagine how he spelled that improperly again. I have no problem coming to your city. But where are we going to stay? Where are we going to stay? I'm going to stay at my house where I live. What do you mean, where are we going to stay? What? Okay. So, because remember earlier on in the conversation, he made it a point to mention that he lives alone. Normally I get into asking the guys as communication goes on, well, who do you live with? Because A whole nother story. These guys, they live with a friend, they auntie, they just moved in with their sick grandmother to take care of her. You guys know the excuses. So anyway, he offered that information earlier. So I'm trying to correct this conversation to get it back on, to keep it in its perspective. So I told him, I said, well, first things first, we're only going to be doing a meet and greet, so there's no need to stay anywhere, right? That's what I told him. I said, we can meet at a nice place for lunch. I said, that sounds like a simple first date. He told me, okay, Mr. Gas Money, um, I am only coming to your city if you assure me that you are interested and attracted to me. How in the world can I'm just meeting you. I only seen your photos online, which could completely be different when I see you in person. You could not have good hygiene. You could stink. You could have bad breath. You could have bad mannerisms. There's a whole lot. So, what in the world makes you think? What in the world makes your crazy ass think I can assure you of anything? Oh my God, these people are hilarious. So then he goes on to say, let me speed this thing up. Oh yeah, no. So I told him when he told me, can I assure him? I said, well, that's the whole point of you meeting someone. I said it for the first time. I said I can't assure you of anything. I haven't met you. I said, but if that's your requirement or your prerequisite, then so be it. So then he goes on to say, so tell me something about you I am not supposed to know. Again, freaking corny. So I told him, I said, you're not supposed to know that I'm very spoiled. I said, but then again, maybe you should know that. So then he goes on to, so I was asking him, had he ever been married? And he said he had not. So then he proceeds to ask me, what are you good at? So what are you good at? You already know where he's trying to head with this line of questioning, right? So I told him, I said I'm excellent at being financially literate. Shit. How about? And I said, how about you? What are you good at? He has the nerve to say he's a good communicator and has a good vocabulary. Guess what, sir? I can't tell. I can't tell that. And so then, just some frivolous conversation. So anyway, let me skip through a lot of this nonsense. So then he asked, do I like to kiss? I answered, yeah, I do. I like to kiss. And so then he says, oh, well, what else do you like? Again, he trying to go off the mark. So I said, I had to think about it, right? Because sometimes I don't always have a fast comeback. I'm learning, I'm learning how to do clapbacks a little faster. So it took me a minute because I already knew where he was, where he was trying to go to, some other area. So I said, oh, I like flowers. I like candy. I like random gifts. I like compliments. I like a generous man. So then I'm trying to, get a little more in depth, asking him, so what kind of woman are you looking for? Exactly. What are you looking for? I'm looking for your time and attention. I guess we kind of know what that means, your time and attention. So anyway, he goes back to me coming to his area and he insists on spelling it that way. That was just really rubbing me the wrong way. But he says, if you come to my city, I will take care of everything else. Anyway, by this point, I already knew that I wasn't going to go and meet up with this guy because I'm just not liking the way the conversation was going. And so then The next day, so the conversation just kind of fell off. No good night, talk to you later, nothing like that. So anyway, he had the nerves to kick me to the curb, right? So this is what happened, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. And so, I asked him, so what are your work hours? What work look like? He's like, whenever I want. That this is this great communicator, right? So anyway, like I said, my friend, she suggested, she's like, get him on the phone. Get him on the phone first. And then after that, you gonna move into a video chat. And then that's when you go meet up with him. So I said, okay. Because I'm the type, I'll just like, okay, I'm tired of playing with you, block, move on. So she's like, no, pull his whole card. So I said, okay. I said, well, how about we have a conversation? Can you give me a call? I said, give me a call or call me, whenever you can. So he never responded. And this was earlier in that day. So all the rest of the day, he didn't respond. That night, he didn't respond. So the next day, I just felt like messing with him. I just told him, I said, well, good morning, Clarence. I said, since you never responded yesterday to my last message, I assume you're really not interested. I said, so I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste any of my time. I'm going to move on. I said, blessings to you. He said, don't be such a Debbie Downer. And it's definitely not recommended to assume. But since you did both, you no longer have the chance for my chivalry nor my intentions of making you feel ultimately very special. You blew it. Bye. He just don't know he blew it way earlier in the conversation. I just drug it on to see if there was any chance of it getting any better, any changes. But anyway, I just had to share that piece of conversation with you guys. These men are ridiculous. And I know I'm not the only one experiencing these types of conversations with these men. So in the comments section, share a little bit of what your experiences have been. Let me know what you thought about this conversation. I mean, was I wrong? Was I reading too much into him trying to turn into Mr. Nasty Pants? I don't think so, but you tell me what you think. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have many more of these conversations to share with you all. I mean, they just get more ridiculous by the day, but I will be sharing more. I hope you are enjoying my content, ladies. Let's talk about it. Let's put these guys on blast because we need the real men to rise up and step onto the scene, or we need to find out where they are, because let me tell you, the ones I'm coming across, and I'm constantly working on myself internally, because people will say, well, maybe something internally is going on with you that you're attracting these guys. I don't know. I can't say either way. I've worked on myself. I've been working on myself for years. I continuously work on myself day by day. So I don't know. It's just a sour patch of men. And I know this because we all are kind of experiencing the same thing. It's the same man, but just with a different face and a different body. But it's the same guy that we keep coming across. Anyway, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure that you share this exciting story. And I will see you, lovely ladies of YouTube, in the next video. Goodbye.